Hey beauties, my name is Jazz and welcome to my YouTube channel, Amaza Beauty. In today's video, we're going to be jumping right into some large knotless braids. So Lauren had a lot of hair, so I started her hair off camera, but I started her sectioning the same way I would for any set of braids, and that was number one, parting her hair straight down the middle from the front to the back. From there, I parted her hair straight across the back from ear to ear, right underneath her occipital bone, which is that little ledge that's in the back of your head. And that made her first row, which is that pink hair. So after I get that first row established, I'm working on the second row now. And for a set of braids this size, I would have 4 rows total. So that row on the bottom is 1, here is 2. And then I'm going to make 2 additional rows with the section that's at the top. So I'm using my Shine and Jam Braiders jam to section. If you watch any of my previous videos, you know I like to use that jam as well as another jam called Evolving Textures O-Gel. I didn't picture that jam in this video, but I will leave a link to my other knotless braid videos so you can see the products that I use and get a more detailed idea of how I section off the hair for parting. So I'm doing the Bricklay method, which is important for knotless braids. You want the braid in the row on top to sit right in between the braids on the row underneath it, and that will create an illusion of fullness. Also allows the braids to lay flat to the scalp and not sit on top of each other. So here I'm using the Evolving Textures O-Gel, and I'm using it on all 4 sides of the braids, a really generous amount. I mentioned in a video before, when I used to do braids, I used to be scared to use too much product. But when it comes to knotless braids, I don't feel you can use too much product. I mean, you can, but it's important to use as much product as you need to get the base of that braid smooth. So once I get the product on and distribute it through the hair with the comb, I begin to feed in my braiding hair. And when I feed in my braiding hair for knotless braids, I kind of do it the same way that I do for cornrows, which I wouldn't say is right or wrong, but it works for me because you want to be kind of adding the hair in on the bottom side. And I've seen other braiders accomplish it different ways, but I'm not able to do it that way. So when it comes to adding hair, I would say do what's best for you, but you do want to try to add it in on the bottom side. And another key point is making sure that the person's real hair is tucked underneath the braiding hair as you go. As I mentioned before, Lauren has a lot of hair, as you can see. So you kind of just want to fluff the braiding hair out over the person's hair. And you also need to use some product to smooth the person's hair into the braid and keep it there. From there, I just keep adding in braiding hair until the braid gets to the desired size and length that I want it to be. Okay, so here's another look at me starting a braid. Again, I'm just going to take my Evolving Textures O-Gel and get it all on the base of that braid and smooth it through with my comb. You'll see me add more because, like I said, you need to use as much product as needed to get the base of that braid smooth. So here I'm splitting the base of the braid into 3 sections, and I'm using my comb to help me keep that hair smooth into the base of the braid, which is very important when you're doing larger knotless braids. Once I have the 3 pieces of the braid, you see me holding that hair in place with my fingers pretty tightly and adding in the braiding hair. And it might sound strange, but to me, the bigger the knotless braid, the harder it is. Because depending on the person's hair type, you really have to work to keep the base looking smooth for the braid. So here you can just see me trying to keep her hair smooth into the braid and tucked under the braiding hair. So I'm like super critical, and every time I do a video, I'm like looking like, dang, I should have did this or that different. So the takeaway from this style for me, and I do want to say that the first couple times I did the large knotless braids, my biggest struggle was keeping the base smooth. So I'm working through that, and I feel like I did a way better job this time. And what I'll be looking to work on the next time I do a set of large knotless braids is the size of them. And basically what I mean by that is just keeping the braid size somewhat consistent from the base of the braid down to the end. I feel like I should have made it a little smaller at the base and then let the braid get bigger as I went down. But I feel like I did the opposite, and the braids kind of ended up looking a little thinner at the ends than I wanted it to. Here I'm just cleaning up that part a little bit and making sure that my braid size is even. So I like to use Ruwa brand braiding hair, and I use the neon pink in color 30. Lauren did her hair color herself, and you know, she tried to match it the best that she could. We had a couple different tones going on, and I tried to keep the blend seamless. I did the best that I could, but I like the way the neon pink and the 30 ended up looking together. This was my first time seeing that neon pink or even using it, but you know, she's young. I like to do the young girl's hair. I feel like it gives me a chance to, you know, do some fun styles and use some fun colors. And here again, I'm just using my comb, even the rat tail of it, to keep the hair smooth into the base of the braid. I feel like when you're doing these large knotless braids, your comb is your best friend. So here, as you can see, I've started that third row going up. So I'm just leaving this in to show you how I do my braids. I know it's getting kind of redundant, but for some people, it might be easier to watch than for me to explain. And here we are on the last row on the top. And as I've been doing this whole time, I'm just making sure to use the Bricklay method to make sure that braid is sitting in between the braids underneath it, so they lay flat to her head. And like I said, it kind of gives like a feeling of fullness, which is really important with these big knotless braids. As I said earlier, I feel like I kind of add my hair into my knotless braids the same way that I do my feed-in braids. The next time that I do a knotless braid video, I'm going to try to add in the hair the way I see other people doing it, because, you know, this is how I add it in because this is the way my brain works. But I kind of want to give the other way a try and master that. I feel like it makes the braid look smoother. So I'm going to try it that way in my next video and show you guys what the outcome is. And I'm still being careful to keep her hair smooth with product and tucked underneath the braiding hair as I braid down. And here I'm just kind of running my fingers down the braid to keep it smooth and get out any lumps or humps. I did the back of the top off camera because Lauren is pretty tall, so you really couldn't see what I was doing. But on that other side, for time's sake, I also did that off camera. And she just wanted another pop of color in the front, so I just added in some of that pink hair. So now all of the braids are in. I'm just going to take some of my Evolving Textures O-Gel and smooth down her baby hairs. You really couldn't see them, or you can't really see them on camera because her hair is really, really close to her skin tone, but they're there. So I just cleaned them up a little bit. And after this, I'm going to foam her hair down and wrap her up and put her underneath the dryer. And this is my favorite part of doing braids on anyone, doing braids on myself. I don't have enough hair to braid right now, so when I put the foam on my client's hair, I'm kind of like living vicariously through them. I know when that foam hits the scalp, it feels wonderful. And, you know, as I mentioned before, Lauren's hair is pretty long, so I'm making sure to get like the bulk of the foam, making sure that I cover all of her hair with it and pull it down. And then the remainder of the foam that I have on my hands and on her hair, I just pulled it all the way down to the end of the braid. I don't know if it makes a difference when you dip it, but I feel like it does. So I just pulled the foam all the way down. And now I'm just putting some wrap strips on to get everything flat. Here I am using my hot pot to dip the ends of the braids, and I try to go up as far on the braid as I can just to take care of those flyaways that, you know, start coming out as you get further down the braid. So here I am, I'm done. After this, I just did some trimming to the hair to get rid of those little flyaways that I was talking about. And that was just the braiding hair, not Lauren's hair. I know a lot of people get weary about their braider doing that, but besides that, I forgot to get some good after pictures and videos, but this is the finished product. Thank you so much for watching, beauties. Please don't forget to let me know what you thought of this in the comments, and please like and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you in my next video, and thank you so much for watching.